I found my wife cheating with two men, so I took action and got my revenge on all of them. Hi all, I'm 33 years old and male. What would you do if you walked in on your wife, someone you trusted completely, making out with two men on your bed? I met my wife, Tracy, 29F, for the first time at the movies. I went to see a new movie, and she was there with her group of friends. We started that day. Before long, we began to meet regularly. We were together for a year before we got married. A friendship turned into one of my saddest love stories. At the start of our marriage, being with Tracy felt like a true blessing. We were content, and I did everything I could as her husband to help her pursue her dreams and encourage her growth. For the first 2 years, our marriage was good. Tracy was kind, helpful, and intelligent. She had all the qualities I wanted in a woman. She cooked well, had a great personality, was elegant, and was honest. What I appreciated most about her was her honesty. Tracy worked in a fast food restaurant. I was a graphic designer and worked with the organization that printed banners and billboards. We both made good money, but I handled most of the expenses at home since Tracy used her earnings to follow her passion. Before Tracy and I got married, she shared that acting was her childhood dream. Unfortunately, she never had the chance to pursue it because her parents didn't support her aspirations. Her parents pushed her to choose a different major in college, believing that acting wasn't as respectable as she thought. When Tracy shared her lifelong dream of becoming an actress, I told her it was fine if she pursued it. I didn't follow the career I wanted, but I understood what it was like to be passionate about something and not pursue it. I encouraged Tracy to join drama clubs, take on volunteer roles, and pursue acting opportunities that brought her closer to her passion and dreams. We decided she would attend a theater art academy in the future when we had enough money saved up. I supported Tracy in her acting career because she had a natural talent for it. She was an annoying drama queen, but she was really good at acting. Before I met her, she had taken a few courses and watched countless videos on YouTube. Her actions made it clear how committed she was, and I didn't want to be the one to hinder her aspirations. We decided to hold off on having kids due to our plans for Tracy and her academy. We intended to begin having kids once she finished her studies at the academy. I thought she would get good roles in plays, dramas, or movies by then. I didn't realize that I was the one pushing her to volunteer for dramas, plays, and other roles because she could get big parts by showcasing her talent. I did everything for her because I wanted her to succeed. When Tracy asked if I was okay with her pursuing her passion as an actress, we were in the first year of our marriage, and everything felt great between us. We never had any fights or major disagreements. She was like a sweet peach, always treating me with love and respect. During that first year, Tracy applied for various volunteer positions online but didn't receive any responses. She reached a point where she was exhausted from applying since she wasn't hearing back. She chose to concentrate on her new job, but I kept urging her to hang in there. Months after our first anniversary, she finally received a response from one of her applications. They needed a few new actors and actresses for a play. Tracy was thrilled when she received the mail, and I felt happy for her. The positive aspect was that the screening took place in our town, giving her ample time to get ready. On D-Day, Tracy passed her screening and got selected. She felt a rush of joy when she shared the news. They also got paid for their time, and the rehearsals for the play mostly took place on Saturdays and Sundays. I was surprised by how much Tracy changed once rehearsals began. During the initial weeks of her rehearsals, our relationship remained the same. We still communicated well and continued doing everything we used to do. We just spent less time together on weekends than we used to. The rehearsal took up her weekends. She would wake up, clean the house, cook, go to rehearsals, and come back in the evening. I wasn't comfortable with the new development, but I didn't say anything because I didn't want to ruin her first official opportunity. Also, her weekend pay was more than her total earnings for the whole week. As the weeks went by, Tracy and I grew apart. I began playing video games, spending time with friends, or having them over at my place to stay occupied. I had known my friends since high school and college, so I trusted them and listened to what they said. When I mentioned Tracy's dedication to acting and how it took up her time, my friend Eric suggested I keep an eye on her. He said there were rumors about women getting involved with their directors to secure better roles. I ignored his advice and told them that Tracy wasn't like that. She didn't sleep with anyone to get the role. She was just really talented. That was a dumb move for sure. After I replied, they stopped bringing her up. They just told me to keep an eye on her, since new actors and actresses like Tracy often cheat a lot. I didn't let their words affect me because I was completely confident that Tracy wouldn't do anything to harm me or jeopardize her happy marriage. Even though I didn't really believe what they said, it stuck in my mind. Without realizing it, I started acting strange around Tracy and asking her odd questions. Tracy pointed out the changes in me. She didn't like the questions I was asking or how I was treating her. I had to apologize and explain what my friends had told me. When I shared everything with Tracy, she laughed and said she couldn't cheat on me because she loved me so much. She called me the best husband in the world and said only a foolish and ungrateful woman would cheat on someone like me. Hearing that gave me a sense of calm. I knew Tracy was loyal to me. I wish that were the case. I had no idea she was just doing what she knew best, acting. She had been cheating on me even before we talked. Tracy transformed a lot in the weeks that followed, and it's hard to put into words. Our talks became awkward, and the joy she used to show when coming home faded away. Before she changed, Tracy was just like a parrot. She would come home and share what happened during their rehearsals. I had never attended their rehearsals, but I knew all their names, how they looked, and their unique personalities. Tracy shared all the details about them with me. We were really close, and I always anticipated her updates each weekend, but then it all came to a halt. Along with her withdrawal, Tracy became defensive. She got upset by nearly everything I said, even with old jokes that used to make her laugh. She began to feel like my jokes were aimed at her, or that I mentioned her too often in what I said. Next, she improved her wardrobe. She had dresses she wore just for rehearsal days, and they were quite revealing. I brought up her outfit multiple times, but she ignored me. She told me those were the trendy clothes and that I was outdated. As she did all this, I assumed she was just trying to match the other actresses who looked better than her. I knew she was really into fashion, so I never thought she would cheat. I began to feel uneasy when she changed her hairstyle weekly and was constantly on the phone with a man she said was her acting partner. One day, she did something that really upset me. When I expressed my anger, she yelled at me and walked away. It was her first time doing something like that, and I knew I had to take action. That evening, I spoke with my friends who came over. They wagered that Tracy was already cheating on me. Despite all the signs and changes I noticed, I couldn't accept that Tracy was cheating on me. I had made many sacrifices to help her reach where she was. I told them that Tracy might be struggling and was directing her frustration at me. They said I was blinded by love and suggested I hire a private investigator to see if Tracy was cheating on me. I wasn't a fan of the idea of someone trailing Tracy, but I went along with it because of how she had changed. Last week, I hired a private investigator I found online to track Tracy for a week. On the third day of the week, when the pie was following her, Tracy didn't come home after her rehearsals. The next day, she came home and mentioned that she had gone to a club for a birthday party of one of her fellow actresses. She decided to stay at a nearby hotel because she felt it was safer than traveling home from far away. It was funny because she never told me about the birthday party. I kept calling her phone until 3 a.m. When she finally picked up, she said she didn't hear it ring because of the loud music. She claimed she informed me about the all-night birthday party, but I wasn't paying attention. I thought she was not telling the truth, but I was sure I would discover what really happened since the pie was trailing behind her. For a week, I didn't get a response from the pie, and when I finally did, I was away visiting my parents. I was heading home when the pie told me he had some things to show me, so I decided to meet him instead of continuing home. At the same time, Tracy had no idea I was returning that day. I talked to her on Friday and said I'd be home Monday morning to spend more time with my parents. But I ended up coming back on Saturday instead. When I met my pie, he revealed things that left me shattered and speechless. He found pictures and videos of Tracy with a blonde guy who was her affair partner. There were photos of them kissing in Tracy's car AP's car, going shopping, eating out, and a video from the night Tracy said she went to a fellow actress's birthday party at a club and missed my call. I discovered from that video that she was with him all night. They went clubbing, but left around 10 p.m. and then drove to his apartment, where she stayed for the rest of the night. So she had seen my calls, but chose not to answer them. I was surprised to find out that Tracy cheated on me. She seemed like someone I could have a good future with, but that fell apart. After the pie showed me all those pictures and videos, he said he followed Tracy that evening. She was with her affair partner in my home before he left to call me. I was filled with anger and felt like smashing something. I was too angry to drive, so my car took me home. When we arrived, I saw a blue Toyota Venza parked in my driveway, and I immediately recognized it. I recognized the car from the pictures and videos right away. I knew Tracy was inside with her affair partner. My pie decided to follow me, but I can't remember if I said yes. Suddenly, I found myself in the house. When I opened the bedroom door, I saw Tracy with two men in a compromising situation. A tall blonde man was with Tracy, while another man was focused on her. I was furious and couldn't decide which man to go after first. Tracy wore revealing netted lingerie, and her hands were cuffed to the bed. She attempted to stand when she noticed me, but her movement was limited. I went after the blonde guy while the other man grabbed his clothes and ran off quickly. Fortunately, my pie was with me, and it prevented me from making a terrible mistake. During all this, Tracy remained handcuffed to the bed and began pleading with me. She told me I was wrong and that she was just practicing her part for the play with the guys. Her excuse made me furious, and I wanted to confront her, but I chose to leave the room instead. I told her to be gone by the time I got back, after I left the house with my partner. He said he recorded everything and sent me the video. I wasn't sure how to handle the video, but I took it from him anyway. That night, I stayed at a friend's house. I felt really embarrassed that he was correct about Tracy and her new acting career. It was even more painful to see Tracy having a threesome in our room and in our bed. When I arrived home the next morning, Tracy was still there. She skipped her rehearsals because she realized she had messed up. When I got home and saw her, my anger boiled over. I kicked her out and tossed her things onto the lawn. She pleaded with me, insisting that I was making a mistake and that I needed to hear her side of the story. She was outside for nearly an hour, calling my name and begging to be let in. After pretending to feel sorry, she turned abusive, insulted me, and then walked away. This happened last week, and I finally decided to share it here because I haven't felt like myself since I saw Tracy with those two guys. I can't believe this all happened without me noticing. I didn't spoil Tracy or anything like that. We split the bills, she handled most of the chores, and I kept my emotions in check around her. I've noticed that many men tend to overlook the red flags in stories I've come across. I realize now that I should have begun my investigation as soon as our communication stopped and she changed her wardrobe. Is that what marriage is supposed to be like? If your spouse starts getting new clothes or seems distant and tired after work, it might be time to question what's going on. I don't believe that. It's really frustrating that she keeps calling my phone non-stop since I asked her to leave. I've been planning the ideal revenge and want to share the video I have with her director. Update 1. Hi all. Thanks for your comments. I'm happy you all don't see it as too extreme. Someone mentioned that I looked into the second guy in the video, and I did. Hey everyone. I found out he's bisexual and is now dating Tracy's director. Tracy's director is gay, and I can picture how upset and hurt he will be when he learns that Tracy got involved with his boyfriend. Tracy came over to my place 3 days ago. She seemed really unhappy, and her eyelids were puffy from tears. Sadly for her, my friends were at home when she showed up to plead with me. Even though they didn't speak to her, their body language and eye rolls frustrated Tracy. She was really upset to see me with my friends while ignoring her. She shouted, "So this is it, Mike? You'll let your friends treat your wife like this over a small disagreement?" While Tracy was asking me to come inside, I just stood there and didn't respond. I was in the house listening to her, but when she made that statement, I rushed outside to confront her. My friends held me back. I was prepared to face arrest for assault and wanted to earn that charge. Before she left my house that day, she caused a commotion. She began discussing all the promises we made and how I said I would grow old with her. I felt a lot of anger, but there was nothing I could do about it. After some time without a response from me, she inquired about the Theater Art Academy that I said I would support her with. I felt like telling her to seek support from her affair partners. I just wanted her to be quiet and go, so I didn't say anything. After some time, she finally walked away, feeling embarrassed. I contacted a divorce lawyer. Once the papers are ready, he will send them to her to sign. I will follow your advice regarding the revenge. I get that showing the video to her director might not end her career, but it will definitely ruin everything she's worked hard for over the months. Sending the video to her director has made me even more excited now that I found out Tracy cheated on me with her director's boyfriend. Thanks, everyone. I'll post another update shortly. Update 2. Hey, everyone. I'm excited to share this update because things got messier for Tracy than I thought. After my last update, I spent 2 weeks looking for her director online, and I finally found him. He is someone new to the movie industry as a director, and he is already making an impact. Tracy's director and I scheduled a day to meet, and he arrived. He was eager to meet me because I mentioned I had information about his partner and one of his actors. When we met that day, I got straight to the point. We exchanged greetings, and I showed him the video of his boyfriend, the blonde guy, and Tracy. He felt deep disappointment and heartbreak, leading him to cry in that moment. Seriously. He mentioned he thought his boyfriend might be involved with one of the cast members, but he wasn't certain since he never saw them together. He said his boyfriend had cheated on him before, but he forgave him because he claimed it happened while he was drunk. Honestly, I didn't care much about what his boyfriend did. I was more curious about what he would do to Tracy and her affair partner. When I asked him what he planned to do with them, he said he hadn't thought of anything yet. I said it would be a mistake to let them get away with it, especially after what Tracy did to him. Tracy got fired by her director, along with her blonde affair partner. I'm not sure if he ended things with his boyfriend afterward. When Tracy got fired, I felt relieved to watch her efforts fade away. I wanted her to experience the hurt of giving her all, only to have it ruined by someone else. When Tracy was fired, the divorce papers were already prepared, and my lawyer delivered them to her. When she received the papers, she called me and pleaded that I shouldn't destroy everything we worked so hard to create. I told her she messed everything up the moment she began thinking about cheating on me. I admitted to her that I was the one who shared the video that destroyed her months of effort with her director. She reacted exactly as I expected her to. She mentioned that she was aware of my jealousy towards her and disliked that she could follow her passion while I couldn't. I just laughed because I understood her intentions. Then I ended the call. She signed the divorce papers 2 weeks ago, and now I'm here to share my update as a divorcee. It hurts, but I'm relieved she's out of my life. I appreciate all the comments and support from everyone. My ex was unfaithful with my childhood best friend. Let me share my story about losing the love of my life, C, and my best friend, J, all in one day. It all began in grade 5 when I met C. I had a crush on her for years, but never managed to talk to her. I was just trying to understand these feelings. I always knew I was an introvert. I had a small group of 4 friends, and one of them was my best friend, Jay. We did everything kids do together, went camping, which I didn't enjoy, but was fun with him, played video games, board games, had sleepovers, and I thought of him as a brother. He was the one who had the courage to add her to the friend group. As we aged, our bond strengthened. In grade 9, C and I began to become closer as friends. In high school, when we were in grade 10, I finally mustered the courage to ask C out, and to my surprise and happiness, she said yes. Our first date was great. I took her to her favorite restaurant. It wasn't too pricey, but the bill was still pretty big. We went skating since she has always loved it, and it became one of my best memories. For the next 4 years, we had what I believed was the best relationship. In the 3rd year of our relationship, C wanted to take things further, and I felt the same way. However, I was so anxious that I didn't notice what was going on between my girlfriend and boyfriend until it was too late. I was stressed because I didn't have enough time to spend with her. Everything changed when I passed my SATs. My nerves about having sex disappeared with that letter, and I walked to her apartment to share the good news. I got into the elevator to reach her floor and walked to her door. I saw it was slightly open, and in a rush, I pushed the door open, worried she might be in trouble. But when I looked inside, there was nothing there. I walked through the apartment and saw a trail of clothes leading to her bedroom door. The moans and screams of pleasure made it clear. I then saw a jacket on the ground. It was the same one I gave Jay for his 18th birthday. I felt a surge of anger and rushed into the room. They were both taken aback by my sudden entrance, but then C screamed in fear as I yanked Jay away from her and started hitting him. I wasn't violent as a kid, but this feeling of rage and betrayal changed me into someone I never wanted to become. It's been 2 weeks since I saw Jay and C together. I've been ignoring all their messages, calls, and voicemails. I've even turned down their family's attempts to get me to talk to them. I couldn't be in the same room with them anymore. Every time I think of them, I just remember that day I caught them. I'm looking for advice on what to do next with them because I'm unsure. Update 1. Apologies for the delay. I've chosen to focus on my future after everything that's occurred. Here's the update. As many of you mentioned, I needed to find out the truth about our breakup before they turn everyone against me. Surprisingly, they didn't mention me, but they also didn't reveal themselves. They stayed silent about everything, and it drove me crazy. Observing as if nothing occurred among the three of us, I reached out to as many of our mutual friends as possible to inform them. Some believed me, others thought I was wrong, and a few didn't care. But everyone viewed Jay and C differently after that day, since I had many details of what they did while those others were distracted. After I exposed the two of them, I knew I had to leave the city. I had lived there my entire life, but I couldn't bear being near C and J any longer. I was getting boxes of my stuff ready to move when I heard a knock at the door. When I opened it, C was standing right outside. Her eyes are bloodshot, and she looks like she hasn't slept in days. I hardly opened the door for her, so I just bluntly asked, "What are you doing here?" Because I won't be kind to her anymore, and that's final. She asked to come in and talk for a minute. I agreed, but not to take her back. I just wanted to hear the excuses I knew she would make. She began to cry, seeking forgiveness, and wanted to share her reasons for her actions. I stayed silent and maintained my expression while she talked. She mentioned feeling neglected because we weren't having sex, and I suppose that's accurate. She mentioned that Jay was there for her, and over time, she started to follow him. Eventually, things escalated, and I found out about them shortly after they got physical. When she finished, I told her that if she liked Jay, all she needed to do was say she wanted to break up, and I would have been okay with them being together later. But that didn't happen. Instead, I found my first love in bed with my best friend. I told her I was leaving soon because I couldn't take being in the city with C and J or their family anymore. I didn't mention where I was going, though, because I didn't want her to track me down. I noticed her tears streaming even more as she listened to that. Looks like she believed we could fix things after what went down. Sorry, C, but I have other plans and won't be taking you back. After that, I held her hand. She looked hopeful and led her to the door, then pushed her out. She looked at me, her eyes filled with sadness. I won't love you again. Return to Jay. I'm certain he'll be glad to welcome you completely, since he already has. I shut the door on her and heard her crying outside. I didn't care and just kept packing my things. I stopped talking to Jay completely. I ignored his messages and didn't respond at all. I'm finished with them, and that's final. So that's my update. Nothing major, but honestly, I don't want to turn this into my entire life story. Take care and enjoy your day. Goodbye.